Hey, Bill Risser, I'm here with video number 1 of a series of videos I'm going to shoot here at Inman Connect in New York, kind of bringing you the latest, greatest ideas and things that I've heard here on an ongoing basis so you can stay on top of the proceedings here from back home in sunny Florida. So the first session I attended today was on team building. They had 3 team leaders who are doing very successful business. The first one, Tim Heil, his quote resonated with me, and I think it makes sense because sometimes you're trying to get big too fast, was simply don't force growth, let success force your growth. So start off having these very concentrated philosophy of trying to attract listings. How do I get more listings? And let that be the guiding force for growing your team. That's the way to have success. Michelle Pius, another one of the team leaders on the panel, she talked about the fact that a lot of teams, the team leader wants to do all the listings. In her opinion, because listings are the key to success, teach everyone how to be a great listing agent. Let everyone get listings. Now, she has a smaller team with only 7 people, but she's got 5 people that can go get listings, and she has a better chance of the team having more success with listings. I love that. She also is a big proponent of a tool called Ring Central, where as the phone calls in, one number, no matter where the listing is, the phones ring for everybody on the team, and the first person to answer the call gets to go ahead and work that contact. So it creates a little competition, it creates people fired up and ready to go, and really great service for the customer because someone's always there. The next session was on legal pitfalls. Now, not a sexy topic, but she quickly talked about 6 areas where you might want to just kind of think it through a little bit if you're a realtor. And obviously every state's different. I know that a couple of these Florida already addresses, but I think it's important to listen. So number 1, I love this, you have to be careful with copyright issues. If you take the pictures as a realtor, those are your photos, and if you load them into your listing, that's your property. Well, what if you leave the brokerage? Are those photos yours, or those photos belong to the listing? Well, check that out. You have to talk with an attorney. More than likely, those photos are yours, and the broker cannot keep those photos. They'd have to go take their own. So copyright of intellectual property was the first one. Number 2 was deceptive images. There are companies out there that are creating very cool looks and feels and actually taking whole rooms and making them look completely different. It's okay to do that sort of thing, but you've got to fully disclose it. She said it should be in the realtor remarks, that there's been visually staged or visually decluttered. You have to notify everybody that you're doing that. Here's one with smart homes and all the audio video technology that sellers have in their properties. It's very possible that a seller could simply record conversations and video of buyers touring their property. And so no matter which side of the deal you're on as an agent, you've got to be aware of that. If you're taking a listing, you have got to talk to your sellers and say, is that your intention? I have to disclose that you have the capability of doing that. And then you disclose that multiple times so the buyer's agent is fully aware that it's possible that the buyer's tour is being recorded. So there's nothing illegal about it, but you should definitely disclose that that is a possibility. And if you're a buyer's agent and you're taking your customers into a home that has that sort of stuff, obviously you're gonna have to have a little conversation up front about what we talk about and what we don't talk about while we're in the house, because it's possible that we're being recorded. Next is cannabis. And really, because the state laws are different everywhere, remember this, federal law trumps state law, and federal law still treats cannabis or marijuana as a class 1 felony drug. So really be careful with this. Talk to a local attorney, go to your legal hotlines, and pay attention to what's happening on that side of the game. If people ask those questions, or if there's a possibility someone's going to either grow or cultivate or sell, all those kinds of things. Smart homes. What conveys and what doesn't? So I put in a Ring doorbell and a Nest thermostat. Do those stay or do they not? Does this need to be addressed in the contract? Or does it need to be addressed in the listing, in the MLS? That's another thing you've got to have conversations with your broker to figure out, how are we going to handle these new tools that are popping up, these new smart home technologies, and how do they work? We're pretty comfortable with ceiling fans. What about that Ring doorbell? And Krista Kazurdlo, who's the attorney that was very funny, and if you get a chance to see her, do it. The last one was teams. We think of teams as that report to the team leader, but ultimately they are independent contractors who then are hired by the brokerage. They're just working together in these teams. So be very careful with that. They still maintain independent contractor status. So she said, be careful how teams are formed, and that you're comfortable with your broker, you're comfortable with the State Department of Real Estate on how you're working with your teams. finally, the last session of the morning involved rethinking lead generation. And Sherry Porter did a wonderful job coming up with a couple of different ways she's generating leads that I don't think people are thinking about. Her first one, she talked about internships. She contacted the local college in her community and said, what is required to have an internship program set up with your school? And they said, fill out this application. She did, they accepted her, and now they had students sending resumes who wanted to be interns at her real estate, for her team actually, and they wanted to, it would be unpaid, and you brought in these college kids with a ton of technical, skills who could help the agents, but they're also learning the business of real estate at the same time. And the side effect was tremendous. The families of those students, their relatives, their sphere, all came to look at that realtor as the realtor who brought in my boy or my daughter or my niece or nephew to intern with them. And they generated a ton of business from that circle. And the actual administrators at the school of the internship programs came to look at them as their realtor. So she was getting business from professors and other people as well. I think that brilliant. And a lot of people talk about it, but nobody executes on it. So what about creating an internship program, getting approved by a school, and having them send you candidates that you choose from, and then build those relationships? Brilliant. And Sherry's final one, sometimes people will roll their eyes when you hear about seminars. Remember the good old home buying seminars? Well, she's really taken it to an art form. It's not done in an office. It's done at a library or a community center, someplace public, non-threatening, where it's not going to feel like a sales pitch. And those places that have those, that want that content, she goes to them and says, look, I'm here to serve the community. I just want to share information. I have knowledge about this process, and a lot of people have questions. And maybe it wasn't about being a first-time home buyer, but it's what about being an empty nester? What about when the market's going crazy? How do I handle multiple offers? How about the shifting market? What are the pitfalls of listing my property now? And she would get 20, 30, 40 people showing up, and the library or the community center promoted it for her. So it was a beautiful way, to really bring information, give back to the community, but at the same time provide so much value that people reached out to her to help her. So that's what I got so far. That's just the morning of Tuesday. We got a long ways to go, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in, and pay attention, because your sales exec is going to send you more of these as I file my reports from beautiful New York City, where it's supposed to snow tonight. We'll see how that goes, and I'll be back with another video shortly.